Our cruise aboard the Star Pride ended at Puerto Caldera in Costa Rica. It was an hour-and-a-half bus ride on good roads and through small towns to the capital city of San Jose. This was mid-December, and the city was gearing up for Christmas with a special holiday parade of lights. We waited a long time with the rest of the spectators for the parade to begin, and that seemed to take forever. Finally, a banner, then a band, and then whoosh, a streak of light to herald the arrival of the fantastic floats. And fantastic they were. All manners of creatures and folkloric themes with amazingly costumed people, both on the floats and in the streets. The multicolored light displays of this procession were certainly worth the wait time. Brightly lit, but with sunshine this time, was the National Theater, San Jose's most impressive public building. Dating from 1897, the interior statuary and furnishings of the vestibule were beautifully restored, particularly in the foyer, with its famous and stunning ceiling painting by Alejandro Villa. The theater is known for its acoustic qualities and regularly features operas, symphonies, and dance performances. The ongoing restoration work is painstakingly accurate. It was Sunday, and the central streets of San Jose were alive with Christmas shoppers. We wandered into the city market and watched coffee being roasted. Then we tried out the typical casado meal of chicken, rice, beans, and plantains. The park in front of the ornate post office seemed to be a gathering place for young ticos and had some interesting monuments. Nearby, the Metropolitan Cathedral was adorned with colorful Spanish tiles, elaborate images and paintings, and, my favorites, the stained glass windows. About an hour's drive from San Jose is Carrillo National Park. Our guide Roberto took us into the hummingbird garden. Costa Rica has about 50 species of these jewel-colored birds. Not so pretty and harder to spot are the tree frogs and poisonous snakes, thankfully housed in terrariums within the butterfly house. Several butterfly types are raised there for release in the park, especially the blue morpha, who found Al's hat particularly attractive. We spotted a sleeping tapir along the trail, and then a fleeting glimpse of a raccoon. But the main attraction was an aerial tram that took us high into the rainforest canopy, allowing for gracefully slow and silent travel in the treetops. Roberto was hard-pressed to show us any of the bird species living in the forest, but gave interesting commentary about the ecology and the variety of plants in the tropical forest, as well as the numerous insects and lizards. We did, however, manage to see a three-toed sloth, but only heard monkeys in the trees around us. Not so gentle was the onward bus ride we took to reach the village of Tortuguero. At the end of the bouncy bus ride, we then had to board a boat and travel about 45 minutes along the Rio Suerte. There are no roads to Tortuguero, which means place of the turtles, but at least the watery path was smooth and interesting. All the goods that the people living along the banks need are brought in by boat too. There was quite a lot being unloaded when we reached the little village. Tortuguero is located within the vast national park of the same name. We bought our visitor's pass at park headquarters and hired a guide and a rowboat to have a nature advantage back into the river and surrounding canals. Our slow motion took us quietly along the watery paths, and we were very pleased with the wildlife we were able to see and get close to in this dense jungle environment. Blue herons, little blue herons, and a lily pad walking jacana bird, or an anhinga drying out after diving for fish, and then there was a boat-billed heron. How about this up-close and personal photo session with a caiman right beside our rowboat? We also spied a river otter up on the bank and a black turtle sunning itself as we passed. Even another three-toed sloth. The village of Tortuguero is quite small. Indeed, there are probably more visitors than inhabitants. Our hostel was right along the river and located right over a restaurant, so meals and fresh fruit smoothies were readily at hand. Just outside, we found a Christmas tree flower and these lacy mushrooms. The main draw, of course, are the turtles of Tortuguero. We visited the Sea Turtle Conservancy, very well done displays and information about sea turtles. We were amazed at the vast migratory voyages that these turtles do between their hatching and returning to nest. Here, sea turtle egg-laying season had finished, but hatchings were still taking place. We spent a lot of time walking the black beaches looking for baby turtles. At long last, we were rewarded with the escape to the sea by a few of these tiny sea creatures. Ah, made it! Well, hey, wait for me! Wait for me! Then we reversed course when we were leaving and again took the water taxi up the river, hoping that our bags would stay dry in their precarious perch. We were headed to the Sarapaqui Rainforest Lodge at La Virgen. The attractive buildings reflect the native Indian dwelling style. The round structures with thatched roofs are called palenques. The well-manicured grounds were nearly a botanical garden and had delightful plantings of tropical trees, vines, and shrubs. The central palenque had a lobby and the open-air restaurant, which overlooked the pool. The rainforest is aptly named, with heavy rain showers every day. Our intended nature walks were put on hold, but we found a tiny, poisonous blue jean frog and spied a scarlet-rumped cacique and a black-cowled oriole in the garden. The Arenal volcano is one of Costa Rica's main attractions. Too bad that rainy conditions kept it shrouded from view. We spent Christmas in the little town of La Fortuna, crowded with holiday tourists and backpackers. Fortunately, we scored a dry day to make a nature walk in one of the many national parks of the region. The steep terrain was crisscrossed by 14 suspension bridges, the highest being 92 meters above ground. Again, the dense jungle made it hard to spot and photograph birds, but the guide found a tarantula in a hole and then gave us botany lessons as we moved along the trails. A parade of leafcutter ants caught our attention. It's amazing the size of the leaves they can carry. Aha! White-faced monkeys at last. And then a coati, related to the raccoon, with a strong snout suited for foraging in the forest decay for its food. Another change of scenery. We were off to the Pacific coast of Costa Rica. The seaside town of Tamarindo has a variety of resorts, luring both ticos and foreigners to this popular beach. The long crescent of sand provides endless opportunities for sunning or swimming, even sandcastle building. Or if you're tired of just sitting around, how about a ride on the giant water slide? Tamarindo is really noted for learning how to surf. There are many surf schools and other outdoor activities on hand. Sea turtles were still in their egg-laying season on this coast, a nighttime trudge across a very dark beach to where we were then able to observe both a green sea turtle and a Ridley turtle laying eggs and then covering the nest up with sand. Al had developed an ear infection, so water sports got shelved in favor of kicking back in our comfortable hostel. Although quiet during the day, it got quite boisterous at night when the younger people really started to party. It was time to make our plans and head north to Nicaragua.